Hello world and welcome to Tinkering Loyalty. Today I'm going to show you a technique that will help you work with that big data that you've been piling on for years and years and don't know what to do with that. But first, hi, my name is Renato Carboni and I'm a loyalty strategist from Brazil, now living in Portugal. You can find all about me or Tinkering Loyalty at the description. Let's start. So yes, today's discussion is around big data, and the technique I'm going to show you, it's called small data. I've talked about this in the previous video, and that's why I felt it was important to do this video so that you understand exactly what this technique is, because I see we talking about big data every day, but we are not talking about how to solve that problem. So before we discuss how to do a small data analysis, we need first to understand what is big data and why it became a crisis. So big data is an expression that we search in Google more than Big Mac since 2013. Big data is a database that grows considering these three V's: volume, velocity, or variety. You could find in the internet, because we search a lot for that, 5 V's, way more V's, don't matter. If you have at least 2 V's in your database, you already have a big data on your hands, and probably you don't know how to use that or to mine the gold that the data is providing. So what is the difference from big to small? I brought here this example. And yes, this is an old picture, I believe from 2017, from my Samsung Health. I decided to use this picture and this color of font because it had my desired weight. Like at this moment, I was 95 kilos. And if I were 95 today, I wanted to be 87, so it doesn't matter. But it's very hard to read, right? Yeah, it's nice. There are graphs, there are a lot of information here. It is in Portuguese to be harder for you to read. But the thing is, when you look at the screen, you see that there are more than 12 inputs to analyze. There's a lot of information and I need to try to analyze and process all of that so that I can take a decision. That's why we gather so much data, because we use them to take decisions. But in this format, although we could say this is nice and it's not, in this format, what's the decision that we need to make in this data? Before I answer that, let me bring you to what's closer to us. A car. Every car has in their dashboard 4 critical informations. They know the current speed, the rotations per minute, the fuel level, and the engine temperature. There's a bit more information, and nowadays the cars are like dash panels with a lot of data, but they are not meant for people that like cars. Like, what I want to explain to you is, for the longest time, dashboards focus on this 4 information and light signals, the alerts that say, your switch lane lights are on, your lights are on, there's something wrong, and then there's that yellow light. All those information, and we have few information than we could. Nowadays we have a lot of information, but we only focus on these ones because these are the informations that we need to take a decision for switch a lane or to stop the car. We only need those informations to stop the car. And it's very easy to stop the car. That's why we don't have in our dashboard more information like, the tire pressure right now is this or that. We only have the necessary information to drive the car and take decision on when to stop it. So if we compare this to an airplane, that's way harder for us to stop. Yes, the dashboard has a lot of controls, and probably they are not used. But all those dashboards in an airplane are needed for decisions that they need to take when they are on the air, because it's not that easy for them to stop the airplane and understand what's going on. This is the secret for moving from big data to small data, is understanding what are the decision-making informations that are needed right now. All the rest, so if we go back now to my Samsung Health dashboard, what are the decision-making informations here? First, what's the critical information? And I decided to highlight only this area. This area is showing how much hours I've slept each day during a week and the total. So what this dashboard is telling me is in the last 6 days, you've skipped one. Because if we say that we need to have 8 hours of sleep because of health and whatever, and let's not get into that discussion, but yes, that's the rule. You need to sleep 8 hours a day. In this example, after 6 days, I've skipped one because I was sleeping less than 8 hours. Instead of all those dashboards, the app was saying, hey, you skipped one day, and this decision is you need to fix it. That's the only information I need. You lost 1 day of sleep and your body needs that. So we could take away all those screens, all those informations, and focus straightly in the decision. Hey, you are losing hours of sleep and you need to sleep more. So it's really that simple. Take all your data, think on the decisions that you need to take upon those data, and don't get 800 dashboards and in columns, in lines, and colorful. That's not needed, and you are not going to use that because you don't have time to process all that information every time you have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour to look at your data. You need them to be bite-sized so that you focus only on the decisions, and you can take those decisions every day. So visual data is not always the answer to what to do with your big data. Small data is about focusing on the action and not the history. Like, am I getting more followers? And you could see a graph in a timeline and whatever, but then you need to interpret that information. What you need is, no, if you want to reach your 1,000 subscribers goal by October, you need to pick up the pace, or you are fine. That's what you need to do with your data. You have a lot of data. Take the decisions on what do you expect from that data. Give it a goal and a time, and make your reporting tools or your analysts make that data show you what you need to do right now. This is the small data technique. And then I'm repeating what I showed you in the previous video. That's why I thought I needed this video. Big data is for the machines. Store it there and make it visual and whatever. But put the questions. What are the questions that I need to know? Am I sleeping correctly? Can I keep driving? And convert that data into the decision-making point. Okay? So this was all for today, and I hope this helps you move away from traditional dashboards. Please give me 800 dashboards with the data I have, because that's impossible to be used to take decisions on daily basis, weekly basis, whatever. Try to bring those down to what are the business questions you have, and you can make the data bring that answer to you. Okay? Obrigado.